It's Saturday morning. It's 9 o'clock. It can only mean one thing. Yes, at last, it's time for another Monster Magic Saturday show. Let's do this.
Wake up, it's a beautiful morning. Feel the sun shining for your eyes.
Woohoo! Oh, it is brass monkeys on Colin this morning, but I've got a fabulous show lined up. Well, I think so. Who knows? It hasn't happened yet. You can be the judge. But before we go any further, I'd just like to point out I have 794 subscribers to this channel, which is roughly the number of views I normally get. So maybe all of you have subscribed, but I would really, really love if by the end of the week I have managed to get over 800. It feels like a hurdle. And so if there are 6 of you out there currently watching who don't subscribe, please just take that little second and just subscribe. Go on. Go on. Hey, it will mean so much to me. And I will be skipping through the park. Got a very slippery gangplank actually, so maybe skipping isn't ideal, but there you go. But first, let's get on with some reviews. And first up, we have Quarter Pounder by R. Paul Wilson. I'm not sure whether you ever pronounce the R. He's just Paul Wilson. He always used to be Paul Wilson. He started writing the R in front of his name, and this is, although it's called Quarter Pounder, this is the 10p version, not the quarter version, and it is Paul Wilson's go-to impromptu everyday carry kind of style trick. If you're down the bar, you know, this is ideal. You show very cleanly, very fairly that you have 3 10p's, and you then give a little bit of a jiggle, and one vanishes and appears up your sleeve. You then repeat this with the 2 coins. 1 vanishes, leaving just 1 in your hand, and 2 are up your sleeve. You then poke 2 coins through your fingers, so very clearly clipped. There's very little, no sleight of hand possible. You then toss the other one up your sleeve, and visibly it appears between your fingertips, where you've now got the 3 10p's. It's like a titchy free fly routine, and unlike a free fly routine where you're sort of up here and you're using a little bit of misdirection and you're entertaining the group, this is the sort of thing you want when you've just got a close group of people. You want them nice, close, burning your hands, because it is very clean, very easy, and it's an up close and personal style trick. Paul Wilson kept this to himself for a long time, and he's very surprised at how interested magicians are in this, and he has been frying magicians with this. I had no idea what the gimmick was. I was guessing along the Michelles and things like that, but I couldn't see how it would work. It is a unique gimmick, strangely unique, because it seems quite obvious when you see what it is. It's completely indestructible. As Paul says, you know, he's been keeping this in that little condom pocket of his jeans. It's been through the wash many times. It is virtually indestructible. You might lose it, but you're not really going to be breaking it in any way. It's got no moving parts, nothing like that. And also, although this comes in, this is a 10p version, you get a quarter version as well. You don't have to worry about what version of the 10p it is. You don't have to worry whether it's got the 4 lions on the back or a picture of the Queen or whatever it might be, because you're only really interested in the edge. And this also means that I don't know what coins and what country you're in, but if you've got anything that's roughly the size of a 10p or a quarter, as long as the edge matches, you should be fine to get away with whichever gimmick is closest to your coin. Sleight wise, there's a knack to it, so it's not really, you're not using any sleights that you've sort of used before necessarily. Certainly not with the hand that's showing the coins. You do have to hold out in the right hand a couple of times, and Paul doesn't really teach those sleights, but there's no one burning the right hand, so it doesn't have to be great. It's more of, you could get away with a little finger clip if you want. You don't have to do a classic palm if you don't want to. But one of the nice things about this routine is no one is burning the dirty hand ever. It sort of flows so nicely that because you're immediately drawing their attention down to where the coin is going to appear or disappear from, the fact that you might be holding out or have a dirty hand, or is sort of irrelevant, really, because quite often with coin magic you're chasing, aren't you? You're being chased, you're running the entire time. You put it in there, it's vanished from there, therefore the logical thing, it must be in this hand. That doesn't happen with this routine, because you toss it up your sleeve, and then all the tension is here as it reappears. And because it's reappeared and you've only had 3 coins, it's on it. You have to show clearly what you're using. You're not using anything extra. You're not rigging something in or making something disappear or pocketing it at the end. Their attention is drawn here, and they're not bothered about what you might be doing with your other hand. It is a great little coin trick. If you don't use that little pocket in the jeans, this is what I'd be popping in. You don't get the other 2 10p, so you would have to add an extra 20p to it if you want to do it. It's very organic. You're just using these 3 coins. Paul doesn't teach a clean up, but you can figure one out for yourself if you've got any sort of basic coin skills. There is an angle issue with the main, or what I guess what Paul would say is the best reappearance at the end, the final phase. You don't really want anyone looking behind you from this angle as you make it appear here in this hand. But he does teach another version, so if you are surrounded, and you can't get away with that one, there is an equally good, I feel, reappearance that is angle proof. It is just a little knacky, probably stuff that you've never really done before, but it's very easy, it's very powerful. It is surprising magic. The visual appearance of a coin, albeit but just by the edge, is just amazing. It is a little pocket miracle by Paul Wilson. It is, of course, $31.99, which looks a little toppy for what you get, but then you get this amazing everyday carry effect. It is Quarter Pounder by R. Paul Wilson. Next up, we've got Visions 2.0 by Matthew Wright. 2.0 or 2020, I'm not sure which one he's calling it. I don't think Matthew is, to be honest. This is based on his original Visions trick, which was a big hit, I think, 10 years ago. Can it be that long? Maybe it is. It is a great card trick that it is sort of a very strong mentalist trick as well as a card trick. You ask a spectator to think of any object that they might draw, a nice simple drawing, nothing too complicated. And let's say they say a cat. You go, that's right, it was a cat. That's what I was thinking of. So you bring out a deck of cards, they cut to a card, and you go, that is my lucky card. Yes, I could show it's my lucky card because in my pocket, I keep that lucky card all along. And you bring out the matching card to the card they've just selected. You turn it over and it's my lucky card because on the back, I have drawn a cat. It is a brilliant piece of card magic mentalism combined that is really very easy to do. There's nothing too much to worry about. Obviously, you've got to get a card from the top of the deck into your pocket, which Matthew teaches, and it is done on an offbeat, and it's done very cleanly because the top card doesn't actually change. So if you've got if you've got a King of Hearts on the top, you've still got King of Hearts on top, even though one card has vanished. And at that point, people really should be laughing, enjoying themselves, and they tend to look away from you when they're doing that to make sure everyone else is enjoying it as much as they are. Before you get started, you will have to do a little bit of arts and crafts, but everything that you need is included in here. And unlike the original Visions, the card case is now specially printed, and the cards are specially printed as well. So they're a maiden back sort of style design. So you can very quickly find the card that you need to find without counting or worrying about it. And even I've do need glasses for reading, but I can read everything I need to very quickly, very clearly. What you will have to do is sort of commit a little bit to memory. I think if you really want to get good at this, you need to remember what pictures are included, just so you know you're definitely right and you don't have to pause or think too long. And this really is a trick that you should be performing quite a lot. It is wonderfully powerful, good fun, and even if you're a hobbyist, the pictures can change anyway. It is a completely free choice of what the picture is, which is completely remarkable. I wouldn't necessarily have believed it, but actually when trying to come up with something that isn't included, it's very, very difficult. It is very, very difficult to think of one that anyone could possibly think of, unless you gave them hours to dwell over the most unlikely object. Chances are it is included in here. And what Matthew does is, but his teaching is brilliant on this tutorial. I can't praise this tutorial enough. On here, you've got 3 live performances with the commentary of Matthew over the top, explaining exactly what he's doing. And he's already explained it to you a little bit. The tutorial is like 1 hour and 15 minutes. And the psychology of, especially if you're asking someone to freely choose something, some people might find that as a challenge. They might try and catch you out, which is possibly the only time this trick really could ever go wrong, like the 1%, not even 1%, 0.5% chance that you haven't got the right card. So he sets it up with 2 spectators. One person, you say, oh, you'll definitely get it. You may not get it, but we'll try you anyway. So you've given yourself 2 chances straight away. And also, as Matthew points out, it encourages this person to try and get it right. They want to choose the right drawing. And that, again, is a really interesting key to a lot of magic. You want people to help you. Brilliant teaching. If in the very, very unlikely event either of them, both spectators, name something that isn't covered with the standard trick, there is an out. It's slightly weaker, but you still get away with it. And I really don't think it's ever going to happen. I just can't see it. There is also a bonus routine, which you can use if you've got a standard card to wallet, or of course, Matthew Wright's marvelous nesting envelopes. You can use that along with this trick as well. The teaching, like I say, the psychology of it and the actual basis of the trick are really, really good. He does teach the force of the card. Fine, it's a very simple force. He doesn't dwell too long on it, and he doesn't dwell too long on the method of getting the card. Or can I say it? I don't think I can anyway. The method of getting the card to the pocket. He doesn't dwell on that too much, but it's a pretty straightforward. And like I say, hopefully you've been having so much fun and there's this big offbeat and you're absolutely fine. And it's a great trick if you are scared of palming. I've said it now. It is so worth learning, and this trick will really help you get away with it if you're very scared. As a card trick, it just contains so much of what I really, really enjoy. You've got these spectators, you can tease them a little bit, you can have a little bit of fun, a little bit of byplay. The fact you go, yeah, that is what I was thinking of, is just funny and cheeky. It's a really, really good, fun, but incredibly powerful card trick. Visions 10 years ago was brilliant. This is also brilliant and slightly easier to perform. All of the pictures and everything else is readily printed on the card, so you don't have any of that to set up, and it won't take long to set up, and Matthew runs through that very clearly as well. It is an incredibly cool trick. It is Visions 2.0 by Matthew Wright. And now it's Julio Montoro. What would a week be without Julio and a peering car? Julio, bless him, in collaboration for sure, really does produce some incredible stuff. Leviosa is a lot of fun, and Rejoined and things like that. The stuff he's done with Jao Miranda are brilliant. This is appearing car. I'm guessing Julio needs to release tricks on a fairly regular basis, and this one's fine. It's a fine, simple trick. What happens is you show a folded piece of paper. You can show both sides of it. You then fold it up into a sort of open lidded box. You then open it again, and you've produced a small matchbox car. It doesn't have to be a car. It could be anything you like. You do get a car with it. Let me see if I can. You do get a car with it. This is the start. It's a very light car. You don't want anything too heavy. If you could, whatever you're going to produce, it could, it can be some money. You probably want to be using notes rather than coins. It shouldn't really be very heavy. This car is very light, very flimsy, but it's fine for the production. And it's a nice size, and it looks impossible. And the bright colours mean that perhaps hiding it is harder than you'd think. You get that, and you get the gimmicked piece of paper. There you go. It's a really fun production of a small object. Angle wise, you've got less than 180. Obviously, this is hidden somewhere. There's a little bit of a setup actually, and it doesn't include. It's a shame he doesn't quite include everything you need. So you are going to have to pop down the shops and buy some sticky stuff. But otherwise, it's quick. It's easy to set up. It's no real arts and crafts, as long as you've got some tape. And the paper's really well made. It's strong, but this isn't a trick that you're going to be carrying around with you anyway. I feel that this is purely a social media production of whatever you want. You could try and work it into a trick. You could vanish the car somehow and then produce it in the piece of paper if you want, but it's really quite a simple production. If you're going to produce something, you might, if you're doing a nice little parlor show perhaps, and you just need to produce something small to use in your trick, it might be a good way of introducing that. But really it's a sort of standalone thing rather than part of a bigger routine. It is just for social media. I feel it's easy. It looks really, really clean. It does look very, very good. It's very, very simple. It's a nice piece of fun. It is, it's less than £20. So you can have a little bit of fun. You could perhaps, obviously, because you can produce various things, you could just, I'm not a social media person, but I'd rather these things weren't used just the once. You could do a series of videos of producing various different things in various different locations. This is just cardboard. It's nothing particularly special. It is gimmicked. Gimmicked very well, actually. So, very, very nice, very nicely made paper gimmick. It's nice you get a car to start you off. Julio shows two different handlings depending on how you want to do it. Both are perfectly clean. Both are great. It's a nice little stage illusion, pocket sized. What you do with it, I'm not sure. But that's it. It's Appearing Car by Julio Montoro. And now we've got the Quattro Wallet. This is a 4-out wallet for your mentalism routines. So if you've got a simple routine, basically you can have someone deal through a deck of cards and stop wherever they like, and whichever card they found, you point to the wallet that's been on the table the entire time and pull out the matching card. That is one of the simplest ways of using this wallet, but the wallet does come with a deck of cards that is designed exactly for that trick, sort of along the lines of a Koran deck. This is the wallet itself. It's not a wallet. That is probably what really bugs me most of all. A wallet really should open. This is more like a sort of leather pocket, so it opens like that. Obviously opens 4 ways. If you know Blake Voigt's envelope number 4, you'll get the right idea. And in fact, this is very much along the lines of Blake Voigt's envelope, but it's leather, so it's, I guess, slightly classier if you're performing somewhere upmarket. It might last longer than the envelope. I guess it's not really going to get battered, and if it does get battered, it just looks aged as opposed to getting torn or anything else, although number 4 envelope, as long as you look after it, it's made from Tyvek, you should be fine. And then there's a massive price difference between this and envelope number 4. So envelope number 4, I think, is in the £20 mark. This is £51. And the construction is more clever than I probably gave it credit for when I saw it. I mean, I was literally, my jaw hit the floor when I saw exactly what it was and how little it must have cost to make. But that probably isn't the point, is it? Slightly the point, isn't it? It is slightly the point, knowing that this doesn't cost very much to make, and you're still paying 50 quid for it, regardless of what it does. Yeah, that does hurt a little bit. It does hurt a little bit. So it is well constructed. It is very clean. You can't show that you can mention there's a prediction in here at the start of the trick, but you can't sort of show that there's the card and put it down, because obviously you might be using a different pocket. There's a little subtlety on it, so you know which way round it is. A couple of routines are taught using the deck of cards. So you do get the deck of cards, which I guess might be gilt for the price. I don't know. Plus a few other routines with dice and objects. So as he points out, obviously this is 4 outs, but you can get 8 outs if you want, or any number in between, depending on how many things or what you've put in the pockets. It's fine. It is absolutely fine. It is well made. I think it is overpriced. If you could knock 10 or 15 pounds off, you would have a product that I would, £35, I would think, yeah, okay, I would use that as my 4 outs for a routine if I had one. Or even, let's not underestimate the Quran deck and an out envelope. That is a really, really good trick. But blimey, yeah, £50. If you get the gimmicked deck, you get a well-made, well thought out, flimsy, envelopey pocket wallet thing. It will enable you to do some really, really good mentalism requiring outs if that's your bang. It's just very pricey. That is the Quattro Wallet. And now we come to the highlight of the show, because Stephen Minch's book, Carneycopia, The Magic of John Carney, has at last been reprinted. I can't gosh, I got this before my children were born, that long ago. It's a terrific book. If you don't know John Carney, he is an incredible magician. He really does do basic sleights very, very well as obviously intermediate sleights and some advanced ones too. And his magic is very clean and well paced, with sprinklings of humour. He also has a very funny stage act. But close up, he is well worth studying. He's a big fan of John Ramsey. A lot of his stuff is very much influenced by John Ramsey. So a lot of subtleties, a lot of things on attention, motivation, plot, presentation. A lot of thought has gone into all of these tricks, and they are blinding. And you get quite a lot in here. You know, these days you get sort of a handful. You get sort of 14, always under 20. In here you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, over 40, and they are a really nice mix. Some card tricks, a couple of mentalism tricks in here as well. The sponge ball routine in here is one of my personal favourites. There's a really nice sponge ball sleight that's based on a coin sleight that I now do all of the time. It is one of my favourite false transfers of a sponge ball. Really, really beautiful piece of magic. And if you don't do sponge balls, you really, really should. Other highlights include things like, so just off the top of my head here, Chill Pack. That is a way of producing a card. Uses sort of Ed Marlowe's pocket thing in reverse, but doesn't require any gaffs or anything like that, any apparatus, and it's a really nice way of producing a deck of cards. Cylinder and Coins. This is one of his trademark routines. It is beautiful. Obviously, it's one of Ramsey's trademark routines. Coins in a cork appear and vanish from under a leather cylinder. Lots of people have had bashes at it. John's work on that trick is incredible. If you are interested in that trick, I strongly recommend this book just for John's teaching of it and his thoughts on it. The Versa switch is brilliant. It is a sort of a way of adding cards onto a packet invisibly as you scoop them up off the table. It is great. Chris Woods, who I sit with at the Magic Circle on a regular basis, uses the Versa switch really well in several routines and has completely fried me. It eliminates all of that false counting of when you're adding on cards. It is a brilliant slide, really well taught. Fruit Cup, the Fruit Cup was the reason I bought this book. It is a sort of cups and balls, but it's a 1 cup cups and balls routine using a borrowed bill with a corner torn off it. See, that's how long ago I bought this book, when I could actually tear up a £5 note. And a lemon appears under the cup, and the borrowed note appears inside the lemon. And then the last 2 tricks were my favourite ones, which were what are they called? Everywhere, Nowhere, and On Your Face, which was an Everywhere, Nowhere card plot, where obviously you get the selections wrong 3 times, and then you show that actually you got the right 3 times, but then those cards turn out not to be the selection, and the selection's on your forehead. It is a great version of the card and forehead. It's one of those ones, it's a version where the whole audience are fooled. Quite often with card and forehead, you're only fooling one person, and the audience is sort of laughing because they know it's on your forehead. With this, no one is expecting it to be on your forehead. All the attention is down on the table because you've just shown these cards keep on changing from the selection to not the selection, and they're not expecting it to be on your forehead. It is a great ending. It's really funny. It is a brilliant trick. And then you've got the 13th Victim, which is a fun trick with bullets and a little fake face that you do with your hand. Fortunately, I used to live in Wiltshire and Salisbury, and getting hold of bullets from the army ranges and things wasn't a problem, but otherwise I'm guessing these days you've got eBay. The teaching, when it's done, is pretty clear. There's a lot of text, and the illustrations are drawn rather than pictures, and you are expected vaguely to know most slides. So some are sparsely mentioned. Things like the Versa switch is drawn really well out for you. And also there's the Erdonez top change. I can't remember which trick he does the Erdonez top change in, but he teaches it properly without that huge backwards and forwards that everybody does. And ever since reading this book 20 odd years ago, I become very frustrated when I see someone making these big backwards and forwards motions with the Erdonez switch. Jason at Prop Dog will know how much I go ah and scream, because you can get away with very little movement if you do it how John teaches it. There's a coin and bottle in there as well. As long as you're prepared to work, because obviously the illustrations are a bit sparse, but you've probably got a lot of the slides already written up elsewhere. The tricks range from, I would say, an interested hobbyist card magician, coin magician, to an intermediate one. There'll be something for everyone in here. Stuff really worth trying out anyway. And even if you can't do them quite how John does them, I think it'll inspire you to become better and to think more about your magic, and maybe develop your own magic plots along these lines. It's absolutely brilliant. It is Carneycopia by John Carney, Stephen Minch. And that's it for another show. Yes, I'm afraid you're going to have to wait a whole week for another instalment. But next weekend is actually the birthday of Monster Magic. Yes, so watch the website, because I'm not sure what's going to happen. but I will try and do something to celebrate 1 year in business. They say it's the hardest year. They might well be right. I was probably looking a bit younger before I started, but I've had so much fun. I do hope you've enjoyed the show. Like I say, please do subscribe if you can. If there's something you want me to review, I reviewed the appearing card because that was a request. Just pop it in the comments. Any thoughts, anything else, put them in the comments. I would love to hear from you and make this as interactive as possible. But otherwise, that is it. I suggest you wrap up warm, put some thermals on and get outside with some magic and have fun with what is probably the best hobby in the world. Bye-bye.